Game 2, let's do this. Yeah, so the map is Ulrina. Very strange map indeed, with this sort of narrow channel that runs between the two bases. Very short rush distance. Let me introduce the players for us. Up in the top left, the blue Terran, Utumno. There he is, look. Yeah. And down in the bottom left, we have the red Zerg, Bluesteel. Yeah, that's them. So, yeah, back to normal. Oh, cancel that. Yeah, good plan. Utumno then, building 2 depots to open. Obviously very keen to finish this wall. You don't need to be quite that keen, Utumno. He cannot get units across the map quite that quickly. However, Bluesteel straight into a... goodness me, words fail me. Words fail me. It's a sad state of affairs. It's a spawning pool, which means that soon he will have the ability to get lings up. And this extractor going down, normally, under normal circumstances, I would say if I see a base like this, that somebody is going for a speed rush. Normally Zergs don't really bother with getting gas until they're on, 2 bases certainly, and frequently 3. So the fact that he's mining gas straight away, normally that would indicate somebody that wants to get Zergling speed up straight away, and on a map like this that isn't a bad choice at all. Here we see the Expo is about to come down. Oh, I've just remembered. Yeah, Bluesteel versus Utumno. We see the Expo is just coming down for Bluesteel, who has a significant supply lead. So what are you not building, Utumno? Workers? Darn it, Utumno. Utumno has come along leaps and bounds, but still just easing off that S button. Where are your APMs going, Utumno? What is it that you're... yes. Yeah, you need to keep building workers. Basically, as a general rule in StarCraft, don't stop building workers until you're on 3 saturated bases. Now these 2 lings have come forward to scout this watchtower, this Zelnaga tower. If you put a unit near that, a ground unit, it gives you a radius of vision that's quite large. So not uncommon to see a worker or indeed a ling parked at that. But these 2 lings are going to try and scout. This is where Utumno will be laughing heartily behind his wall. Wahaha! No information for you, Bluesteel. But the Overlord is not coming. The Overlord has stopped. Bluesteel can, of course, sacrifice an Overlord. Just fly it straight into the base and see how far in it gets before these Marines can kill it. 3 Marines will see off an Overlord pretty rapidly, but the Overlord, depending on how quickly Utumno reacts to it, could arguably get in far enough to get a lot of information. Now I wonder, was that SCV coming out to try and build an Expo? I hope so. And Utumno very wisely coming down with these Marines to clean that up. So get another worker down there, build that Expo. These 2 barracks are neither have any sort of add-ons, no tech lab, so no tech coming up for Utumno just yet. There is the metabolic boost that I expected to see early in this game, along with the Benling nest. So Ling Ben is not such a bad strat at all. Look at this, both players with Expos down at just the 3 minutes 45 seconds mark. So this game progressing very nicely indeed. There we have an interesting strat, Bluesteel. Bluesteel is somewhere. What? Hang on, where did it go? Yeah, Bluesteel has researched Overlord speed, so his Overlords can now move faster. He's got a Benling nest. I would love to see Benling Wren. Ben Wren, a strat that you don't see so often these days in StarCraft. But basically, you take Benlings, which are suicide units, self-destructive explosive units that do splash damage. You load them into an Overlord. Overlords can carry, I think, 4 banelings or maybe 8 banelings. 8lings or 4 banelings, I think. So you load 4 banelings into an overlord. If you have overlord speed, you fly your overlord across this mineral line, dumping the banelings out one at a time, and those 4 banelings will kill every single worker here. Is that what you're aiming for, Bluesteel? Because I really want to see that happen. So this early speed not really being utilised. We have got some lings on the map, but not that many. If I look at the units tab, there's only 6 lings out on the map. 13 is the marine count. So if I just check the army supply, you can see that Utumno has the slight lead. There were also a couple of roaches for Bluesteel. Worker supply heavily, however, favouring Bluesteel. Utumno, you do need to be holding down that S button on the command centres. Build, build, build. Oh, and here come those banelings. Now, what Bluesteel doesn't have yet is an overlord capable of carrying this stuff. So he needs to, if you click on an overlord, you see down at the bottom right, you need to mutate one of your overlords. Costs you 25, takes 12 seconds, and then your overlord will be able to carry stuff. But I love that we can see some banelings on the map already. Those 4 banelings, you know, with speed would kill all of these marines unless the Terran is quite handy with their micro. What you don't want is for the banelings to connect. You need to split your marines up so that the banelings only connect. Oh, like that. Utumno, seriously. Did Utumno just suddenly become a StarCraft god overnight or something? Look at the splits. Only lost 2 marines to that stuff. And that's what we like to see. That's what a pro would do. Split your marines so that the banelings cannot splash damage, so that it's a baneling, at least 1 baneling per marine. So yeah, again, a very efficient trade there indeed. Look at that. Yeah, boom, in your face. That's good work from Utumno. Let's have a look at the income tab though. Horribly in favour of Bluesteel. You need to rectify that, Utumno. Build those workers. Yeah. Build those workers. Get building. Build more stuff. But look at this, upgrades coming out, planetary fortress going down, and that isn't a bad choice. I don't mind that at all. The position here at this front door, you know, nothing can get past that planetary without taking fire from it, and the planetary fortress upgrade is pretty robust. Not only does it give this command center armor, so making it tougher, but it pumps out substantial damage. This planetary will really help Utumno survive any sort of frontal attack here. A planetary with, for example, a bunker there would, you know, that'd be a very, very hard thing to break indeed. Yeah, badass. Yeah, armor 3, and look at that cannon on top with damage 40. That's a lot of damage output. You know, it is just popping roaches and stuff like that. So let's have a look around. What we see are some roaches, yep, some hydras, actually a reasonable number of both. So Bluesteel parked on a fairly strong army there at present. Spire is building, has got the hydra down, is upgrading both range and melee at present. Even spreading a little bit of creep, very nice. Really important as a Zerg to have your bases connected by creep, so that if an attack turns up at one of your bases, you can then get your own units in between the 2 bases, or in between the 3 bases in this case, to defend that. This overlord is ready to carry stuff, look, so I'd love to see some banelings loaded into that. And look at this sneaky beak. Has in fact loaded a drone into an overlord to build a hatchery here. With these gold mineral patches, that could be very lucrative indeed. Yes, so let's see the big Jukaroo. Both players reasonably sedentary at this stage, just casually building stuff, neither attempting to slow down their opponent or disrupt their opponent in any way. And I guess that would be the next phase of player development that I'd really love to see happening, rather than players simply sitting at home building an army and then a single engagement, you know, win or lose. I'd really like to see players trying to harass their opponent, trying to get some units into their base, disrupt their economy, try and maybe kill a tech structure, slow down their tech development, in some way disrupt your opponent's game. But that's not happening yet, but that's kind of okay. Utumno looking very good in terms of tech buildings, has these double factories. The single starport needs to really be pumping out medevacs. You've got a reasonable amount of bio, up to 4 barracks here, so you can be building stuff 4 at a time. Researching concussive shell. Really, stim is the most important upgrade for you. Is that worker trap? No, maybe get out through there. Yeah, so no stim as yet. These medevacs have got some units in them. Just keeping those units warm or something. Again, this position, I wouldn't like to try and break that. Coming up this ramp, you're going to take a lot far from these siege tanks. You're going to take far from the planetary when you get to the top. So it would take a fairly mighty force to come up this ramp and not get killed. There's Thors on the way. The Greater Spire is coming though. So with the success of those Broodlords in the last game, Bluesteel is going for it again. Is he going to attack with this stuff? Not sure. Some fairly randomly placed things here to defend against an attack. If you want to defend a ramp with static defenses, put the static defenses at the top. Just is pretty normal because they have vision from the high ground. So yeah, at the bottom of a ramp is a bit of an odd choice, but not to worry, still useful. So here we have Bluesteel on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mining bases. Dare I look at the income tab? I do. And as you can see, heavily skewed, and given that neither player is really carrying too many minerals, that is got to be worrying times for Utumno. As I said in the last game, I am still mightily impressed by the improvement that I've seen in Utumno. This is the first game I've seen from Bluesteel, so I don't know how much he's been practicing, how much he's been playing. Certainly looks competent in macroing as a Zerg, and Zerg is certainly the race where you want to macro, but it's also a race where you want to harass. Zerg kind of famous for relentless aggression, with macro behind it. Not really what we're seeing here, but we are seeing a very strong macro game from Bluesteel. So if you look at the supplies up top here, 160 to 110. Certainly in... Oh, what's this? Aha! So Utumno finds out about this base, and this Liberator will make short work of a queen if you siege it up into liberation mode. Yep. Oh, but the mutants are going to see it off very, very quickly. Yeah, Liberator does about 50 damage per shot, so it only takes a few shots to kill a queen. 2 Liberators would certainly 2-shot a queen, and that's pretty quick death. Okay, you have these buildings. Utumno, what have we got here? 1-1 for the bio is already finished. Very nice indeed. I'd like to see 2-2 researching. Fusion core? Are we going to see cattle bruisers? Is that what's about to happen? You would need a tech lab here if you want to build those battle cruisers, or cattle bruisers. So no tech lab as yet. I guess the only other purpose for this is allowing air upgrades above +2, but at present you haven't got any air upgrades, so maybe that was just a random building. Oh, is this some sort of sneaky expo? A bit of a ninja expand over there. You won't be expecting that. To be honest though, he isn't really looking, so you could expand anywhere you like. Yeah, I think I can't help but feel a slightly pregnant atmosphere. It's all going to kick off soon, isn't it? No, Utumno. What you need is air units that shoot. That queue of medevacs will certainly enhance the longevity of these marines for sure. These Hellbats are actually fantastic against the broodlings. They do splash. I don't believe they have the blue flame upgrade. They do not, but nevertheless they do a very good job at killing the broodlings, but they will not kill those broodlords. Where are the broodlords? There's some mutas. As I mentioned in the last game, the purpose of mutas really is all about harass. Scans seize the broodlords. Surely at this point Utumno, you think, oh my god, it's broodlords, and you build loads of Vikings. A large number of Liberators. Ah, yes, Utumno, yes. Cancel the medevacs, and look, you've got enough money. Throw down another starport. Look at him go. Brilliant stuff from Utumno. Scans, uses that information to, you know, make decisions. That's what I like to see. That's proper StarCraft play right there. Need to do it a bit quicker though. You really need these building as soon as you possibly can. Now this ground force will take an absolute rinsing if it tries to come up here. It won't last long at all. The mutas will take an absolute pasting as well. Thors do air splash and mutas tend to clump. So the Thor will pound away at these mutas and the Marines will just make mincemeat of them. So it is only the Broodlords that is scary, Utumno. That is the only thing that can hurt you. But there are a lot of them, and these Broodlords will really, you know, you probably won't even be able to see them, but they will do untold damage. Whatever you do, don't let him get the creep up here. Oh, yeah. None. Bluesteel maxed out. Is building up a serious bank. Again, this is a Zerg strat that we see. Continue your Queen Spits. Oh, here it comes, here it comes. The mutas are gonna melt. They have melted. The ground force is gonna melt. It is gonna melt, isn't it? That's it. Stim. Now you have to focus these down. You have to be focusing the Broodlords, otherwise your units will automatically shoot the Broodlings. Thors by default prioritize air, so this Broodlord is taking some hits from the Thors and is going to go down eventually, but my goodness, this is hard work to keep this stuff alive against those Broodlings. Where are your Vikings? Where are they? Quick, get the Vikings in here. Look, you've got idle Vikings. Broodlords, don't shoot air. The Vikings, Utumno, get the Vikings working. You are holding this. You have got this. Now Bluesteel's supply is still very, very high, so I think he's possibly done a good job of reinforcing. Where are the reinforcements? Unfortunately, Utumno's lost most of his ground army, and these reinforcements are going to be a world of bad. These Vikings will kill these eventually, but those mutas are going to seal the deal. They'll take out the Vikings. It's all over. Utumno, well played. Bluesteel simply outclassed you on this occasion. That macro game, the 200 supply boss army with this many Broodlords was always going to be very hard to beat indeed. And that's GG really. There is no way back from here. Look at the supplies, 183 to 40. This Viking doing as much work as it can. 2 kills, and those 2 kills are probably Broodlords. I mean, that is value. Oh, and the third. But it's too late. It's all over, I'm afraid. This Liberator can go to work on these mutas, and you know, in terms of value exchange, does very well, but that many mutas will just kill stuff. It's all over. But you know, GG, man. That was a pretty good game. I liked what I saw from both players. I liked this Ninja Expo in the base here from Bluesteel. I liked that during the engagement, Bluesteel was remembering his macro, remembering to build reinforcements, wasn't just entirely focused on what was happening with his Broodlords. I liked that Utumno saw what was coming and, you know, made the right choice about reacting to it. Just didn't get enough Vikings out in time, and the Vikings he did have out maybe weren't quite in position. So, you know, certainly a couple of mistakes, but nevertheless a good game. This sorry base over here is not going to fare very well. These mutas will probably be the tool that Bluesteel will use to find that and kill it, and it's going to go down pretty quickly. Yes, so 2-0 to Bluesteel. Bluesteel looking competent, looking like a contender. It's all over. GG, well played, and I'm looking forward to seeing Bluesteel in action again. I believe I've already got some replays, so hopefully maybe later today I'll hook you up with some Bluesteel versus versus someone, versus Tasia. No, that would be horrific. Versus Bicuspid Valve, one of our strongest players in terms of the replays that I've seen. So I'm very much looking forward to that game. Hopefully you guys are too. Once again, I hope you've enjoyed it. If there's anything you want me to include in these casts, feel free to ask me. If you want to know more of the technical details, if you want tactical tips for the maps or anything like that, ask. Otherwise, I just ramble on about anything that springs to mind that may or may not be useful to you guys. Again, if you want any more little tutorial videos about any builds, feel free to ask me and I will post them. Otherwise, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. So until later, that's me. As I said, I might have time for another couple of games later, and if I do, that will actually, that will not be Bluesteel versus Bicuspid Valve, because I've just remembered Un has emailed me the final game between Un and Burger Slayer, and I am seriously looking forward to that one. I don't know who wins, but I am looking forward to it. If you remember, it was a pretty cheesy first game. Or was it the second game? I can't remember. Maybe there was cheese in both, but it was a very interesting series, so looking forward to that one. If I get a chance in the next hour or so, I will definitely cast that one up and post it. Until then, GG, keep it real.